We are making progress through Chapter 2 of Brotherhood of Darkness, and this is video number, I'm losing track, 8, 7 or 8? I don't know. Just follow the numbers. They'll all be labeled. A group of wealthy men set out to block the Reese Committee investigation. Congressman Wayne Hayes was assigned to the committee to disrupt it. During 185-minute testimony, he interrupted a total of 246 times, yet the media steadfastly refused to report what was happening. The Reese Committee discovered that the tax-exempt foundations were working closely with the Rhodes Trust and that Rhodes scholars were being assigned to strategic positions in our government. They cited Dean Rusk as an example. After returning from Oxford University, he worked for the Rockefeller Foundation until he was appointed Under Secretary of State for Far Eastern Affairs. In that position, he helped bring communism to China and involved us in the no-win war in Korea. When he left the State Department, he returned to the Rockefeller Foundation, where he remained until President Kennedy asked him to become Secretary of State. He returned to government service and was largely responsible for our involvement in the Vietnam War. In 1968, he left the Senate Department, or the State Department, and became president of the Rockefeller Foundation. Powerful men opposed the Reese Committee's effort to investigate the foundations. They brought pressure to bear on congressional leaders, and funding for the Reese Committee was canceled, which ended the hearings. Subsequently, Renee Wormser, the counselor for the Reese Committee, wrote Foundations, Their Power and Influence. I have that book. Skeptics can verify the facts about what happened there. In the foreword to Renee Wormser's book, Congressman B. Carroll Reese wrote, I felt that the work left several important unanswered questions, of which the gravest was, to what extent, if any, are the funds of the large foundations aiding and abetting Marxist tendencies in the United States and weakening the love which every American should have for his way of life? Are the tax-exempt foundations the force behind the effort to establish a world government? The hierarchy. We affirm the fact of group fusion and integration within the heart center of the new group of world servers, mediating between hierarchy and humanity. Letter from the Lucis Trust, 1998. Some people insist that the hierarchy are responsible for our problems. They are supposedly wise men who have evolved through successive cycles of reincarnation to reach a state of divinity. They are also called ascended masters, masters of wisdom, and the elder brothers. Before you reject that concept, let me point out that many important people believe in the hierarchy and support their programs. The Lucis Trust, which has thousands of followers, promotes belief in the hierarchy. It has offices in New York City, London, and Geneva, Switzerland. Some of the most important men in the world belong to that organization. Gary Kah lists their names in his book, The Demonic Roots of Globalism. The fact that most people have never heard of the Lucis Trust or the hierarchy reflects the degree of control that exists today over what the American people think. Robert Mueller belongs to the Lucis Trust and supports its objectives. He was Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations for many years, and his World Core curriculum is currently being used in schools throughout the world to introduce students to occult thought. Alice Bailey organized the Lucis Trust in 1923 to publish and distribute her books, which were channeled to her by Dewal Kuhl, her spirit guide. Her books, along with Madame Blavatsky's writings, are the foundation of New Age thought, and I have their books. In 1998, the Lucis Trust sent a letter to its supporters inviting them to join in meditation, letting in the light. At this point, you may not understand the term light. A clue to the meaning of that phrase can be found toward the end of their letter. Group fusion. We affirm the fact of group fusion and integration within the heart center of the new group of world servers, mediating between hierarchy and humanity. Alignment. We project a line of lighted energy towards the spiritual hierarchy of the planet, the planetary heart, the great ashram of Sanat Kumara, and towards the Christ at the heart of hierarchy. The passage is confusing because it is written in esoteric language in order to mislead all but the elect. Note the reference to Sanat Kumara. Who is he? What is his connection with the hierarchy? What part does he play in the current effort to establish a world government? The Illuminati. It was this same remembrance, preserved or perhaps profaned in the celebrated order of the Templars, that became for all the secret associations of the Rose Croix, or the Rosy Cross, of the Illuminati, and of the Hermetic Freemasons. The reason of their strange rites, of their signs, and above all, of their mutual devotedness and of their power. Albert Pike, 1871. Some well-informed people believe that the Illuminati still exists, and that it is the major force behind the drive toward global government. Adam Weishaupt and 4 associates founded the Illuminati on May 1st, 1776. Their goal was to destroy all governments, all religion, and to rule the world. Within a few years, they recruited a number of prominent men and began to infiltrate Masonic lodges across Europe. There they would work under a cloak of secrecy protected by blood oaths. Although the Illuminati was officially disbanded in 1785, it continued to exist within Freemasonry and was the force behind the Jacobins and the French Revolution. The revolutionary movement of the 19th century culminated in the Communist Revolution in Russia and the establishment of a Bolshevik state. Why did the Communists select May 1st, the day the Illuminati was founded, as their national holiday? And I'll stop it there just because. I'll stop it right there. And we'll pick up in the next video. I hope you're following along. This is a pretty interesting book. And, in this book, Dr. Stanley Monteith cites, all his research, and you can look into all the books that he mentions. And these are very interesting books that he mentions, and I have most of them.